It's not recording us, is it,
There are words that were, yeah. Can you tell?
Hold on.
Anthony?
There's some online, there's a few people online.
Okay, can y'all hear me? Thumbs up. Y'all can hear me? Okay.
Anthony, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Is it recording us or just
Yes.
you?
No, just me.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is words that work. And what that means is we're going to talk about what can you talk with your people about in these uncertain times. And this kind of came to me. I track data, y'all know that. And I did a slide way back in 22 when the interest rates went up. And when people are saying, is the market tanking? I said, no, it didn't tank, it shrank. And that's kind of what we're facing right now. So I wanted to do the numbers to show you on two sides here, you as a business owner, what you're trying to do, but also what we can do in talking with our database about what they can do. I'm doing a video that I'll be posting on KW United's channel rather than my own channel on resources for our whole database. You've gotten the notice, you've decided you don't want to be in government, US government anymore. You don't know what's going on. What can you do? And this whole video is about, look, this is what's under your nose in Northern Virginia, as far as jobs are concerned. A lot of folks, they will pivot. They will go from being in government service to government service on a local level. And on the local level, there are tons of jobs in all the counties and in all the school systems. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, if y'all can see this, here's what's happening with our inventory. Okay. 2019, this is measuring from January 1 to March the 17th of each year. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up so y'all can hear me a little bit better. And in 2019, before all the COVID stuff happened, we had 9,080 listings that came on board in 2019 of that time period. I'll try to make this camera work a little bit better for you. Okay. And then in 20, it got optimistic. 9,140. We were all excited. If you recall, this time, huh? A little, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm just showing the pie. But what happened here is everyone got excited, and then COVID, if you remember, this is the week in Fairfax County and this area, we shut down. We were all at home twiddling our thumbs. This is the week that happened 5 years ago. But the listings we had taken was up to 9,148. Which, by the way, 2020 became an amazing year. We had this huge drop, and then in June, it took off. And so interest rates were in the 2s and 3s. 21, listings came down a little bit more. The pie was coming down. Between here, people were saying, what happened to the market? And especially in 22, when the listings dropped, we had 800 less listings in 22 that time period, almost the first quarter. But it was 800 listings less than what we had in 2019. Now we come to 23. We've had a year of the high interest rates, people sitting down and not wanting to move. They're enjoying their interest rates that they got here. And we came down to 6,648 in 2023. 2024, it kind of leveled. It was the same. And now in 2025, we've listed 6,402 listings. So for you, yeah, but it's not showing that it's letting up. So I think what this is creating here, because everything in the fall of 24, what were we hearing? 25 is going to be a better year. Probably is nationwide. For us, we're seeing this chilling effect because folks are like, I don't know what I need to do. I've heard narratives from several agents that their sellers are saying, I don't know yet. I need to wait. And so they're waiting to see what they need to do. And then in 2025, you know that all this stuff came out crazy about thousands of listings are on the market. It's all tanking and everyone's running. Now, DC has been struggling since about 2023. So all the news about what's going on with DC, that's actually okay, yawn. It's been that way for 2 years, where they've been in a buyer's market. And the DC numbers will be in today's session and our sales meeting. So the first talk, now here's the thing. Our absorption rate has remained. And in some zip codes, it's in a 2-week supply. Forget 1 month, 2 month. It's in a really low supply for some areas. I was helping price in Woodbridge. And by the way, these listings are everything. It's our Beltway areas and Loudoun and Prince William and Manassas jurisdictions. So all types of houses. This is just everything that's on the market in the greater Northern Virginia area. Okay. So the talk for the realtor is, well, it's not tanking. It just shrank. It continues to shrink. It continues to shrink. Pardon? Yeah. We're 256 listings less. This is measuring up to yesterday. So if someone puts it in today, that might go up because they didn't get the paperwork in till, I listed it last night. Let me get it done. It's not going to move a little bit. It's about the same, but that's substantial. That's what? That's 3% less or so, something like that. So in our calls, go ahead.
All of this data is as of the same time?
Yes.
That you had me lost. I thought that was total numbers.
No, this was through March 17th of each year, because that's what I'm trying to compare for everybody. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not great. This is less than this at the same time period. Yeah. So I'm showing this oblong looking pie, okay? That what's happening here is our pie just got smaller, okay? And it will most likely continue through the spring market and possibly the summer when folks now start seeing what's going on. Think Detroit. When Ford, Chrysler, all those guys were having their changes, their market did not tank like this. Their market blew up. I mean, you were buying houses for $10,000 up there because they were absolutely leaving. What the difference is for us here is we're not sure what's happening. We're still working. I saw the whole big article on FDA, on WTOP. They were crammed in there. The building wasn't built to hold as many as they were holding. 1 hour to get in the building for security. So all that chaos is what they're hearing. We want to speak to real estate and what's really happening. So when they say, so how's the market? What could you guys relate to them? Think about that for a moment. We still have low inventory. It's still a seller's market. The pricing in all jurisdictions is still up. In DC, which I'm showing today, single family homes this year are up 18% over the same period last year. So in the last 30 days. Yeah. Yeah. We have another speaker coming up.
Anthony didn't think I was here today. You know I was. I'm actually not here tomorrow. Not next week.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so one of the things that I was hoping to talk about today was to make sure that people do know, and I know Anthony can do this in a pinch. We're looking at ourselves, nobody else.
It's just so it records. It's
I'm
just
like,
you and me.
oh, we're recording.
And
Okay,
I won't edit this. It'll be just
Okay,
us bumbling around
great.
here. Go ahead.
So I wanted to make sure that people know how to find the data. So he and I know how to do this really well, but we want to make sure you all know how to, because he gave you this data here today,
Yeah.
but to be able to go into SmartCharts, which is a free resource for all of you, and be able to pull that data, at least the monthly report, if not the weekly report. So that way you should be able to have an answer for people about what's happening in the market. And generally, Usually it's about is inventory, how does the buyer activity look and how does inventory look? Those are usually the conversations I'm having, and price.
Mhm.
Inventory, price, and showing activity. Basically, you want to know what that looks like compared to last year and compared to last week to be able to give people the data.
Mhm. Exactly. And I mean, I've written 3 offers this week with 1 client. We keep losing. Okay. So he's VA. I know it's a little bit challenging for VA. We're trying to beat some people out, but we're still not having that story happen. But now I'm going back and saying, look there are properties that are not flying off the shelf. So I'm going to encourage them, let's go see these properties that aren't flying off the shelf. Okay. Now, what's your discussion? Yes, you have this, but how do we bring value to them outside of just being the data? So I'm putting together a video that I'll be posting on KW United portal. And what I'm putting in that video in the comments will be links to all of the resources that the counties have put together for people in the area that are being affected by the federal changes. They're calling it, I forget exactly, but hey, federal employees, this is what's available to you. A lot of it's about jobs that are local. I even found one that's like career clearance careers. There's a website for people that have clearance. Now, some of the resources that they would normally go to that are national, I would submit, it's up to them how they want to face it, but we know that those resources may disappear. You may click some of those links and it go to a 404 page. But we want to talk to them about job opportunities. We want to talk to them about resources that are available in the local area. Is it time for a career change? What could they do with what they have? Any federal employee that has got any time in the workforce here is a high educated, highly trained, highly professional employee. Okay. They can take what they've got and move it to others. Now, why is it important? Why do you think realtors could talk to this more than a lot of other people? Because we've done this. We have gone from one. This is not a first. It's rare to find that one student out of college that goes into real estate and stays there. Okay. They usually join a team. Okay. Help me. Okay. But we have all come from a different career. So all I'm saying is you do the Ford. How's your family? How's your occupation? And you'll probably hang out there for quite a while on the occupation. And then how's your recreation? What are you guys planning for the summer, the spring? And then what are your dreams? What do you want to do? And that's this area here. So I'm showing this to you. We have to create this pie for ourselves. 6,402 the first quarter. Okay. I know that the first half of the year, about 54 to 55% of all sales contracts written will happen by June 30th. So still 48% are going to sell after the end of the year. That's really for us as the business owners. But what we can share with them is like, look, the inventory is still here. If you're looking to sell your house, the prices are still up across the board because of this inventory piece. If they've got a plan and they're wondering what to do with their house, you can talk that information. But this is the value discussion. Can I help you with job opportunities? We have a video on our company website right now with all these links that you may not have considered. What are the resources from the counties? It's going to be in that video with all the links to go to. Have you thought of a career change? And when I'm saying career change, it's not very far away from where they are. It's not like they are an analyst for some alphabet agency and now we're asking them to go be an HVAC person. That's not what we're talking. But let me tell you something. If they are a mechanic, like they're in the shops of some of these organizations, there's a Fairfax County job right now for an HVAC making up to $69 an hour. Okay. That's a higher level, but it's like 40 to 60. So there are jobs in the local area that are, maybe they do know about them. I don't know, but that's the discussion. These are words that are work now. You're bringing value to them. Have you thought of launching a business? Now, I'm a number cruncher, right? back here, I looked at, when you launch a business, you have to get a business permit. All right. They went up 30 some percent over the same time period in 19 during COVID. People launched businesses like crazy. So there are resources that I have in this list that's about launching a business, getting business loans. They have a house with plenty of equity. And most times when you do launch a business, you are going to look at, well, what's the equity in your house? They're sitting there on, $300,000 or $400,000 worth of equity. They might need to go get a line of equity now while they have a job. Get a line of credit now while you have a job. Oh yeah, sure. Here's a HELOC. It's $150,000. Now they've got some money to help them launch a business possibly. And then also, I remember when the .coms became the .bombs, we had a huge flow of the .com people coming to the real estate business. You can still say, have you thought of getting your real estate license? It's at least something you can have on the side. You can refer people to us. If we get something, you get a 25% referral fee. That could be several $1,000s as you're moving along. Okay. So I think the words that work right now at this time in our market in the local area is, how can I help you? Have you thought of this? Let me direct you to this video. Look at the remarks. All the links are there. And if I find out that the links don't work there, I'll have a document that will have the links you can email to them. Okay. But I think these are the words that work. And it is now 9:50. A lot of people in your database are now showing up at work. Okay. They're getting their cup of coffee or their water or whatever. You give them a call and say, I want to check in on you. How are you doing? That's the call. It's not, are you looking to buy or sell or invest? It's not. The call is, how are you doing? I understand. I was in XYZ. What were you in before? She was in marketing. What were you in before? HR and pharmaceuticals. What? You were an educator. You were a teacher. Yeah, I was in communications. So we understand more than a lot of other people of this career change piece. It's scary, but there's a pathway. Maybe their career change is not real estate, but maybe their career change is like, you know what? I've been here 20 years. I've always thought of being a teacher. And the teacher jobs, huge. I even have on there a link to the Virginia Education Department on how to get your certification as an educator in a high school. High school is a little bit lower bar than it is in college. You have to have a master's degree in college to teach. In high school and middle school, you just need a certificate. And maybe they can take what they know. And I mean, it's everything. It's like school counselor, it's a Vietnamese language teacher, it's HVAC, it's teachers up and down. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of jobs in our local school systems that I think I was surprised at it. And we're pretty involved in what's going on in the community. If they're in their bubble of, let me get my analysis done, let me get work done on the federal level, and now they're facing, what am I going to do? Have you thought of going to the school? Even if it's a short-term thing, they have substitute teaching. So we have the resources, and I think this is what we need to be reaching out to right now, because the value will create the influence. And the influence may be, well, Melanie, Sherry, Anthony, whoever called me and gave me this information, I have decided I'm going to go back home. I'm going back to Kentucky. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going wherever, and I need to sell my house because this piece right here, this is where we eat. Okay. And so we can make this grow for ourselves, but what we have to look at is doing the hard work as a realtor, and that's getting the listings. How many have written contracts and they haven't gone through in the last month or two? Yeah. No, we got buyers. We're writing contracts. We're not getting through. Okay. Your listing was very difficult, but you went to settlement. You got paid because you had a listing. Okay. If you have a listing right now, it's almost 100% chance you're going to get a paycheck. You got a buyer. It's about a 35% chance you're going to get a paycheck. I saw a hand come up. Whoever that was, go ahead and ask your question.
It was me, Lucia.
Okay. What's your question?
No. I have a question, but I just raised my hand because I have a buyer. Who knows what I'm gonna get a
Oh,
record
yeah.
with them. I
Yeah,
gotta,
I did the
Yeah.
same thing.
yeah. But my
Yeah.
question was, Anthony, and I joined a little bit late. Sorry if you already said this. You said that all of the things on the ride, we're gonna get an email with all of those resources, or if
Yes.
there's some. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to email that to you. I will email it as just a document for you guys to use any way you want, whether you put it on your web page, your social media, or whatever. It's also going to be in the comments section of the video that I'm going to do. And I'm still working this out on how do I want to do this. Do I want to say, hey, education jobs for federal employees, job resources for federal employees, and divide it up, or just do it on one video? I don't know yet, but that should be done. If not today, tomorrow. I'm still researching the information that, some of these folks just may not know that they're available because they have not been looking for jobs. And maybe they have since all this talk and all these changes have been going on, and maybe they know what it is, but there's got to be a lot that they just don't know. A lot of people that they just aren't aware of these local resources. And so I think that's our words that work. Words of encouragement and value, and let them emote. This is what's going on. We're worried about X, Y, Z. I understand. I remember when I came from my government job and I decided to go into real estate, it was a challenge because I had to go get a new license. I had to get trained up, but it now has starting to be, it's been rewarding, been stressful. We know that. I don't know if it's rewarding yet, but it's because this pie is a little bit smaller. But the key here is show them value. And in the backside, maybe they are going to list, or they know someone that's listing. The fact that you've shown them value on this, you'll be top of mind when someone next to them is looking to sell their house. Any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, great. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over to a couple of websites and share them. And then you guys will know where the data is, because as they ask for the data, you want to be able to
I'm going to encourage.
pull that instead
right,
of just it being me all the time.
Right, instead of always.
I'm happy to do it. Y'all know that.
Instead of always having to wait on Anthony, there's two things that I want to make sure people know how to do. The monthly report, but in these times, you probably want to be able to pull more current data than the monthly data, because monthly data is kind of old when things are happening so quickly. But I want to make sure you know how to pull both. So you're sharing your screen, yes?
Yeah, I am. But let me share it up on the screen here.
Oh, okay. So first we're going to show you how to pull the monthly data, and then we're going to show you how to pull the weekly data. And again, what I usually focus on in my quick conversations, when people are like, how's the market? I'm going to talk about inventory, buyer activity, and price. Those are the three things. And interest rates, I guess, but which is not in this data. You've pulled that separately. So SmartCharts, the monthly report, show them first, and then we'll show them the weekly stuff.
Okay. So just go to SmartChart.
Yeah. Well, they show them how to get from here, right? So
Yeah, how did you get there?
Is it a market SmartCharts? So market SmartCharts. Anthony and I both have the paid version, but you all have a free version of this through your membership, I think, with NVAR. Okay.
You're
so
still
make
going to
sure.
have to register.
You still have to register, but make sure you have access to the free version.
Right.
When you first log in, notice that you're in the Mid-Atlantic region. Okay, so the Mid-Atlantic region is not as helpful as doing Northern Virginia. So you're going to change your location, type in Northern, and it'll start to come up. And notice that there's a Northern region. That's not what you want. You don't want the Northern region. You either want Northern Virginia for the larger Northern Virginia area, or Anthony chose the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors. When you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you'll see, I'll keep going. You'll see this is what's included. Arlington, Falls Church, Fairfax, Alexandria, and Fairfax City. Again, if you want a bigger Northern Virginia region, you can go to Northern Virginia by changing that location. And but the Northern region is
this one here.
Yeah, that Northern Virginia, and then scroll down to the bottom, and then this includes, go all the way to the bottom. This includes Manassas, Prince William, Fauquier, etc. Loudoun.
So they're doing one county at a time, and For a quick and dirty, the counties is the way to go. But I believe if you click the one county, then it takes you to the zip codes of that county.
Right, that's true.
Okay.
So now, again, so sometimes when you're looking at small areas, it's harder to see the trends. So
Right.
again, we're data geeks, so Anthony and I will dig in here, but go back to just the Northern Virginia and monthly report is what I want them to see. So this is Arlington County.
I'm working on it.
So, yeah,
Okay,
here we're
so-
gonna go back to Northern Virginia. And go to, so that you're gonna click on your reports. And then on the right-hand side, the local market insight report, it's gonna always give you the most recent one. So the most recent one right now today is February, but we're in March. So again, this is a little bit old data, but this data here shows you if listings are up or down from last year and from last month. So listings again are up from last year and up from last month. Pending contracts, which is your measure of buyer activity, up from last year, down from, oh no, sorry, down from last year,
Right.
up from last month.
And your monthly, as we're going through the first quarter to like May, is always going to be higher from the month before to now. That's no story. People go like, oh no, listings are moving up. Well, they're usually up in March versus January. So that's not a problem.
And how you know that is this is your trend line. Okay, so this is your trend line in terms of price for the last 2 years. So activity and price usually goes up this time of year. It peaks in June and then it starts to come down. It bottoms out at the end of the year and then goes back up. That's how our market trends. So again, this is how you can talk about the trend in the market. And then again, this is your monthly data. You can say whether inventory or buyer activity is up compared to the year before and the month before. Here's your price up from last year here and up from last month here. And then down below, again, your active listings compared to your 5-year average. So we are at a max compared to our 5-year average. So listings have been increasing
in February.
in February. So listings have been increasing, but then you can go back and look at the historical data and understand that we're still lower than what we've been. But it is important to understand inventory has been increasing. And then you want to watch that buyer activity, right? So what's buyer activity doing? Well, right now it's up from last month, but down from last year. So we may be moving in a direction of less buyer activity. These are the facts, right? So just have the facts to give to people and you have to keep watching it to know, where the trends fall. And then the weekly data is what I want to show.
Right.
So again, that's the monthly data.
So this is monthly, and that report that you have up there, where is that coming from?
That is go back to MLS. And then go to
You want to drive? Once you drive, yeah.
Sometimes I
You know
even
where it is,
forget.
yeah.
Well, sometimes I even forget. I think it's
Oh, I know where this is.
oh, it's research.
Okay, there you go.
Yep. And then it's weekly, and oftentimes you can get here a couple of different pathways, but research weekly statistics,
Under research, yeah.
right? So it's in this
It's-
top one.
yeah.
So now this is the weekly data for the Bright. Now you always have to know what you're looking at. This is the Bright MLS service area. So that is including Pennsylvania and Delaware and West Virginia.
Mhm.
All right. So that's a broader area. So what we like to do is you go to the full report, and from here, again, this is all for the entire Bright MLS area. You can get the DC metro area here. So this is as small as you'll get from this source. Again, it's the best you can do unless you run it for yourself, but it's good data if people want to know what's happening in our area. So here's the DC metro area as of March 16th. And this is the area, right? So it's the larger DC metro area, but we're not now in Pennsylvania and Delaware and the other places. So compared to last year and compared to last week. So seasonally, we're doing what we normally would do. Showings are up compared to last week. Purchase contracts are up from last week. Listings are up from last week. Everything is up from last week. I don't usually look at these things because they're
Yeah.
kind of new data points.
Mhm.
But compared to last year, we have less showings by 10%. But our purchase contracts in our area are still up a bit by 3% from last year. Time to contract longer by 4 days compared to last year. New listings are up 30% from last year. Active listings up 34%. Price is still up from last year.
And the challenge, this is the DC area, but this is including Frederick County, Montgomery, Prince George's, DC, the areas that we may not be really focusing our outreach on. So it is a DC look, and this is quick data that you can use. But when you get down to Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, Loudoun, and Prince William County, these numbers are going to change because we have a little bit hotter market than the other areas have. And that's where this type of report. Now, I'm about to show you, I don't believe all of this that I'm showing you is available to all. I think you have to be a subscriber to get down to the
that's
but
true. Right. So again, the
but,
stuff that I
yeah.
showed you, I like to, use the free stuff whenever possible. I want you guys to be able to use the free stuff.
Yeah.
So that you can get the monthly report, you can get the weekly data all for free.
Right. So they're showing 29% up from January 2025 in February 2025. Okay. So that's in a month. But from last year, the inventory is down 3.2% for Fairfax County. New pendings up from January of this year, up 23%. Again, that's normal. That's not the abnormal. But it's showing you that, okay, the listings are down a bit. So what we're seeing by what's being taken on the market is going to be less. And so my encouragement to you is to start giving the value of what to do. Because this here on the left side on the right side is what's affecting the emotions of our sellers and buyers on what their activities are. Okay. And so if we want this pie to increase, so we got two things we got to do. Increase our own pie, which means get a hold of my database, check in with them. How are they doing? You will have someone say, it's amazing you just called. I just took a job in Louisville. It's Louisville, okay, not Louisville, right? They will come after you if you say it wrong. But say, great. So they need to sell their house or they need to rent it out. Either way is going to be a win. And so they're going to take that money, go to Louisville, take that job, move back home. Or I just don't know what to do. We're very worried. Say, well, have you considered these resources? Let me show these to you. And you send them the resource page of all the jobs, the resources the counties have put together, the jobs that are open on the local level. The school jobs aren't going away. We've always had a dirge of enough people working in our school system. And I was surprised when I went to Prince William County and Fairfax County and Arlington and looked at their school jobs. It's hundreds, if not thousands of jobs that are open right now because this is the time of the year when they start planning for this fall. And so they start interviewing people now for what their projections are for the fall. Okay. Any questions on this data, where to get it? And this is pre-produced data. We can do another one where I'll come in and show you how to do the individual data for zip codes and stuff. But yeah, like what Kristen said, when you get down to a zip code or a neighborhood, it's probably not going to have much movement because there's just, it's harder to say, wow, I'm up 50%. Well, you're up from, 2 listings to 3. So, I mean, it's not really telling you. So I saw a video of a guy, foreclosures are up 900% in this particular zip code in Florida. It was from 10 to 19. All right. It's up 900%. And there are idiot savant realtors out there that will take that and run with it and cause the pain and agony on the public and just sowing fear. You want to come to them with solutions, with value, and that will help you have influence in their decision on what they want to do when it comes time to sell or refer someone. So that's kind of like, quote unquote, the lecture part. I want to release you now to get on the horn and just whoever comes up on your phone, call them and say, how you doing? I know you guys are connected to the federal government. Just ask them, how's your family? So what are you hearing about your work? Well, you know, we've put together a really cool resource. We're about to finish it up. We're going to send out. It's all the resources you might need since you're a federal employee family, where you could probably at least have some resources that are local on state, county, jobs that would be an easy transition so you can pivot, or even it's got listings on, it's got resources on, maybe this is the time you're going to start that business you've always wanted to start. Hopefully not federal contracting. So anyway, any questions, comments? Okay, so for those that are online, I'm going to mute. I'm going to stay with you. We got a meeting starting up in Kingstown here at 11 o'clock. I have data that I'll be sharing that you can use for posting. It's all about DC, but DC is what everyone's wanting to know. What's going on with the city? And you saw what I showed you, I think, last week on Northern Virginia. It's not a whole lot different. It's about the same thing. Prices are up, listings are down, sales are down, but the prices aren't dropping. So that's where we are. Okay, so I'm going to mute now, but I can still hear you guys. And if you got a question, come on board. But I really want to encourage you, pick up the phone, look at what we have here. If you have access to these numbers here, by the way, another free one here under Fairfax County is this table report. You could pull this one up. And I believe the table reports are free across the board. Every county has a table report. And then what you're looking at is what's the average sold price? And this is year over year, month over month. What's the median sold price? What's the average days on market? You'll just have to look at each one of these. What's the average list of sold? And then down on the bottom, these are by bedroom sizes. So if it's a 4-bedroom house or higher, they're going for 1.296 million. If it's a townhouse, they're going for 767. So these are free. These reports on the left side of each one of these these jurisdictions. So if you're doing Arlington or Alexandria or Prince William, these countywide reports are free. Okay. Any questions? That's my one French word. Probably la question. I don't know. All right. So I'm muting it here, and I'm encouraging you guys to get on the horn for the next 20 minutes. Probably time to call one person and get into a good conversation. All right? I'll check back with you in about 20 minutes. All right, question just came up. I went to the free one. When you get to SmartCharts, it's going to look like this, and it's going to have Mid-Atlantic. Just type in whatever area you're looking at. Okay? I'm going to do Prince William Association of Realtors. And then you have dashboard, and you have charts, and you have reports. Reports is free for a couple of things. So from here, I click reports, and I have 2 reports that are available: the tabular report or the graphical report. And the monthly and the all is what's free. Okay. All right. All right, guys. It's 10:30, 10:28. Anybody get a call? I got 2 calls in. One was voicemail. One was an actual live person. Her husband's a part owner of a company that is heavy, not heavy, but they have a lot of government contracting. They've lost some. So she goes, they're not too worried. They have other private vendors, but it was just a good talk, connecting with her. I know her mom is going to be selling sometime, dealing with dementia. So we got to talk through that. So just a reach out contact and you know, I'm in getting a part of her mind again. Anyone else get a call in or 2? Like I said, in 20 minutes, you're probably only going to get a couple of calls done. Anyone else? Was I alone in the wilderness? Okay. All right, folks, thanks. 11 o'clock, we've got team meeting. The team rally in Kingstown. If you can make it in, that'd be great. Otherwise we'll be on this YouTube channel here, or this Zoom at kwunitedtraining.com. All right. Talk to you later.